Thank you, Ranking Member Woolsey, for allowing me to come this morning. The reason this is such an interesting topic for me, Dr. Michaels, is I'm a professional roofing contractor with 35 years of experience, having put on tens of thousands of roofs, just like the one pictured here that you show on your slide. In 1995, when the exemption was put in place, I was sitting on that side of the table, along with your colleagues from OSHA, giving testimony on why the exemption should continue. Apparently, my testimony was compelling because it was extended, and I'm going to ask you a few questions today because I've heard a lot about regulations don't cause jobs, it's lack of demand, and all this kind of stuff. But I've discovered very quickly, as a former business owner, that a lot of times we connect dots, but we don't collect the right ones. In this case, let me give you an example. Let's take a family of 3 or 4 people. Got a mother and a father and 3 children. Relatively low-income Americans. Maybe the husband or wife is unemployed. And they have a leak in their roof in their bathroom because the bathroom vent has a flashing problem. They call the local roofing contractor, and it's a low-slope roof, about 3 and 12. So today, or prior to this, the roofing contractor could go up onto that roof, and it would cost about $50, 15 to 20 minutes of work to solve that problem. This is an OSHA fact sheet provided by your department, and on the back of it, I circled the example that you've depicted here of appropriate fall protection. Can you tell us how long it takes to install that anchor that you're showing there, that tripod for the retractable lifeline?
Well, first, now my understanding of our regulation here is that a 312 roof, we wouldn't require any conventional fall protection, that a monitor would be sufficient.
For a
312 roof.
That's an interesting statement. I would like you to keep that in the record.
I have my roofing expert.
Okay,
right here.
How about let's make it a 612?
Okay.
Let's make it a 612. Still walkable.
Yeah.
Will that help you?
Now, I have to tell you, OSHA covers 130 million workplaces.
Yeah.
I have a number of people here who are.
Well, let me tell you as a professional roofing contractor how long that takes. Okay, it takes about 3.5 hours, because you can't just go up there and pound nails into there, because it has to support the weight of an adult falling for 6 feet, which has a tremendous amount of force. That actually has to be bolted down to the roof. Okay, so now a $50 repair is now $300 or $400 to do the same amount of work, and in fact, the exposure of the worker unprotected while attaching this is longer than the time of the repair.
But is he going to be putting on a slide guard instead?
So that takes about 15 to 16 minutes to put that slide guard on, just as you depicted there.
He's not going to use those same sorts of
that's what a slide guard is. It takes about 15 to 16 minutes to put on. So that's all included in the cost here. And you see, here's the problem. As the price goes up, and it has to go up, and it does, that family now can't afford it, so demand goes down. And as rules and regulations are piled on and prices continue to go up, a necessary segment of the population can no longer afford it. Let's take our same low-income family now. The roof continues to leak because they weren't able to afford it. Now that family has a new exposure. They have exposure to additional structural damage. They have exposure to mold and mildew and sickness themselves. Is their safety less or more important, do you believe, than the safety of that worker who might have been able to do it without a fall? And in fact, the letter that you sent to me said that only 3 falls have occurred, 3 fatalities have occurred when slide guards were used. From 2005 to 2007, roofers in residential construction, there were 3 fatalities when slide guards were used.
There are 3 in our records. But
actually, records is the one that you use to promulgate rules?
Of the serious injuries in residential construction, thousands are reported through the BOS system. So we have to weigh these things out. But when we look at these situations, if your roofer went out and it was a 912 roof,
yes,
then by law they'd have to do it.
That's correct.
And they're at risk there. Are they at much less risk because it's a 612?
Oh, absolutely.
But they're still at risk. He may fall.
So you would like 0 risk?
Well, no, not 0 risk. We know that because the 312 roof, we're saying he doesn't need to do that. And people have died off of 312 roofs.
Well, sure.
But we've weighed this. Our stakeholders have weighed this. The National Association of Home Builders asked us to do it this way. We think it can be done this way reasonably. obviously it's going to raise some costs, but it's going to save some lives, and that's what OSHA is about. And it's not at zero cost, but we think this is a reasonable cost.
I'm just watching my time. Am I
Gentleman's time has expired.
okay, I'll yield back. Thank you.
I ask unanimous consent to give the gentleman another minute, and I'd like him to yield for a question.
Yes, I'll yield.
Do we have unanimous consent? Give him
Unanimous
another minute.
consent? Yes.
Okay. We all admire my friend's expertise in roofing. I just have a question. Have you ever fallen off a roof?
No, sir.
Okay, that's my only question. Thank you. I'm glad for that.
And in my 35 years running my company, I've never had a fatality in my company either, because an injured worker I cannot make a profit on. So therefore, worker safety there's a compelling profit interest for American employers to keep their workers safe. And I did so because I have a conscience, and I didn't do so because the government told me I must.
I thank the gentleman. Thank you.
Would the gentleman yield a little bit of that minute to me? Would,
Yes.
We have 30 seconds left.
okay, and maybe I'm a cynic. I cannot imagine any project where a roofing company packs up, goes to somebody's home, and takes care of a problem for $50.
I would invite you to move to Wisconsin.
Well, I do live in California. I give you that.
This brings back memories of having an HR person out there asking your rates.